Pinky re-entered the basement, infuriated. "I've had just about enough of this," she yelled. "No more playing. It's time to die." She grabbed the scalpel from the table and headed to Fluttershy. "I'll start with you," she said, raising the scalpel. "Leave her alone," yelled Rarity. Pinkie Pie whipped around. "You're in no position to tell me what to do." She turned back to Fluttershy. "Now, hold still." She lowered the scalpel to Fluttershy's skin. She let out a yelp as the blade punctured it. Just then, the basement door flew open. Pinkie dropped the scalpel and whipped around again. "What now?" she yelled. "It's us," said Twilight. "You?" Pinkie yelled. "You two are getting on my nerves." "Why are you doing this, Pinkie?" asked Twilight. "Why?" asked Pinkie. "Why? I'll tell you why. But you should know. It's all your fault." What are you talking about?" asked Twilight. "Remember?" asked Pinkie. "That little surprise party you threw for me a while back? The one where I was left alone all day?" "That was because it was a surprise party." "Even so, one of you could have hung out with me. It doesn't take one pony, 2 unicorns, and 2 Pegasus to know or to throw a surprise party." "Maybe you're right," said Twilight. "But that doesn't give you a reason to kill." "I'm not using that as a reason to kill," said Pinkie. "I'm using it as a reason for how I became the pony I am now. When I was left alone, all the happiness inside of me was replaced with sadness and anger. After realizing you were throwing me a surprise party, I started to feel happy again. But it was too late. The anger had corrupted my heart. Every day my heart grew blacker and blacker until it became this." Pinkie paused. "So, like I was saying, it's your fault." "Pinkie," Twilight started. "Enough chit-chat," said Pinkie Pie. "Time to die." Pinkie lunged at Twilight. She stepped aside as Pinkie shot past. She stopped and spun around. Trixie levitated the scalpel and threw it at Pinkie. Pinkie dodged it, and the scalpel bounced off the wall and fell to the floor. "Nice try," said Pinkie. She slipped through behind Twilight and kicked her in the legs. She fell to the floor as Pinkie jumped on top of her. Pinkie picked up the scalpel and brought it above Twilight's eye. Pinkie was about to stab her eye when Trixie tackled her to the floor. Pinkie kicked her off and stood up. "You're the most annoying one here." "Proud to disappoint you," said Trixie. Pinkie threw the scalpel at Trixie's face. Trixie stepped aside and watched the scalpel fly across the room. She looked back just as Pinkie punched her across the face, and she fell to the floor. "How's that feel?" she asked. "Probably like this," said Twilight, socking her in the face. Pinkie stumbled backwards and grabbed her cheek. "Not bad for a bookworm," said Pinkie. "A bookworm?" asked Twilight. "How about a magical bookworm?" Twilight levitated the table with all the knives and threw it at Pinkie. It smacked her in the side, knocking her to the wall. Pinkie groaned as she pushed it off. "Enough's enough," said Pinkie. "Giving up?" asked Twilight. "No way, not by a long shot." "What are you going to do now?" asked Twilight. "That," said Pinkie, pointing to the basement door. Twilight and the others looked. Standing in the doorway was Apple Bloom. "Apple Bloom," said Rarity. "There you are. Applejack's been—" She stopped. Apple Bloom had a blank expression on her face, as though she was in a trance. "Apple Bloom?" The little filly entered the basement and stood next to Pinkie Pie. "What's going on here?" asked Twilight. "This is my little helper," said Pinkie. "What?" asked Twilight and the others, shocked. "In fact, she helped me with our first victim." "Which was?" asked Rarity. "Gilda," said Pinkie. "That was the first one." "Gilda?" asked Rainbow Dash. "Oh yeah," said Apple Bloom. "I remember that one." "What have you done to her?" asked Twilight. "Nothing," said Pinkie. "I simply needed a helper, so I taught Apple Bloom. She really took off." Pinkie laughed. "I'm not going to lie. The first one was messy. She laughed again. You're sick, said Trixie. Sick? Asked Pinky. Yeah, said Trixie. She's just a filly. How could you? Oh, it was simple, said Pinky. And it was fun, too, said Applebloom. Gilda was pretty strong. We did Equestria a big favor by getting rid of her. Got that right, said Pinky. You're gonna die for this, said Rainbow Dash. That's funny, coming from you, said Pinky. You're closer to death than all of us combined. I've heard enough, said Twilight. This has to end. You know, you're right, said Pinky. This conversation has been going on far too long. I'm going to give you one last chance to surrender, said Twilight. Surrender? Thought Pinky aloud. Surrender. No, I don't think I will. Are you sure about that? Most definitely, said Pinky. I'm not going to give up right here and now because some pony doesn't like the way I do things. The way you do things? Asked Twilight. You're a mass murderer, Pinky. That's very frowned upon everywhere. Oh, look at you talk, said Pinky, thinking you know everything. I know that no place welcomes mass murderers. Maybe not, said Pinky, but I'll think of something. So, you've made your decision then? Asked Twilight. Yes, Twilight, said Pinky. Yes, I have. Good, said Twilight, turning and walking towards the door. Good? Asked Pinky. Good? Yeah, said Twilight. It makes doing this a whole lot easier. She stopped at the door. Come and get her, she yelled. What are you? Pinky stared. Just then, 3 royal guards burst into the room and tackled Pinky. Celestia entered the room and stood next to Twilight. I'm proud of you, said Celestia. You've led us to Pinky and managed to save your friends and Ponyville. Thanks, Princess, said Twilight, but I didn't do it alone. Celestia spotted Trixie. Trixie, said Celestia. Your Highness, said Trixie, bowing. I want to thank you personally for helping out. I understand it must have been hard for you to come back. Yeah, said Trixie. It was. Well, I'm very grateful for all you've done. Trixie smiled as the guards dragged Pinkie Pie outside, kicking and screaming. Twilight and Trixie entered the hospital room. Hey, girls, said Twilight. Hey, Twilight, Rarity, Rainbow Dash, and Fluttershy said at once. How are you feeling? Asked Trixie. Doing better, said Rainbow Dash, and thanks for your help. Don't mention it, said Trixie. It was nothing. Are you kidding? Asked Rainbow Dash. I could have died, and Fluttershy too. There's a present for you, said the nurse pony, handing Twilight a small box. What's in it? Asked Trixie. Not sure, answered Twilight. She lifted up the note on the box lid with magic and read it aloud. Dear friends, I just wanted to let you know that I'm alive and well and traveling Equestria. I'm seeing the sights. I've met some new friends and have a new home. My life is getting back to normal. Thanks. Love, Pinkamena. P.S. I still throw some killer parties. Twilight and the others just stared, not knowing what had happened. Twilight lifted the box lid with magic and looked inside. What she saw made her drop the box. Blood poured out of the box, along with an eyeball.